Alrighty guys, SDK here bringing us another Dragon Ball Legends TOP guide video. This is going to be for season 96. As of last season, we ended up at rank 1771, which is still going to guarantee us a spot in the top cut, giving us the title, all that good stuff, but most importantly, securing that juicy 1000 CC. And another thing, I mean, I'm gonna have to make a separate video on it, but look at this bad boy right here. Thanks to all of our efforts with TOP and all that good stuff, we were able to secure our first copy of the Beast Gohan. Hopefully the TOP CC was able to land you something good as well if you used it on the Beast Gohan banner, or if you used it on one of the other banners, or the New Year's banners, something like that, right? Anyways, before we get into it, massive shout out to doomgeta, Aflac, essentially the entire Discord, for helping with the production of these videos, giving them a higher level of quality, all that good stuff. If you guys want to show them some love and support, definitely check out the links in the description down below. One of the links is to the official Dragon Ball Legends Discord, and then the other one is a personally owned Discord by doomgeta, both of which they are both active in. And as always, there will be timestamps in the description down below, that way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. And just to lightly touch on this is to get your friendship rank up. You want all your roster units, especially if you're consistently using the same team in TOP over and over again, which is an extremely viable thing to do. You want them all at friendship rank 10, right? So you can see right here, this is this Gohan's regular stat, or his TOP stats. This is at friendship rank 10, and then these are his regular stats. You can see that they're diminished right here, but when you look at the TOP stats, they're increased, right? That's directly because of TOP, or friendship rank, right? So friendship rank only affects your stats in the TOP game mode, so don't get to friendship rank 10 thinking you're going to go into PvP with these enhanced stats, but that is something that you want to do. It caps out at friendship rank 10, and it's not that hard to do. It just takes a little bit of time doing the friendship rank events, all that good stuff. There's stuff to make it go a little bit faster, like friendship rank equips. So that is something that you should look into, especially if you are if you notice yourself like not getting full kills in the game mode, like you're barely missing the kill by maybe like one hit, something like that. This could help out exponentially. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about our pathing right here for the season. So on the left and right hand side, I have both. It's going to be part 1 and part 2 for when we actually do the walkthrough videos right here. So the left side is going to be the first half of the board, the second half is the right side is going to be the second half of the board, right? On the first half, there's one alternative path, which is indicated by the green marking right there. Usually it's just to give you an option. Sometimes it's for more points, stuff like that, right? And then we have the danger fights, which are indicated by the little danger icons, the Dorito ships, right? There's only 3 of them in the first half, and one of them is going to be that boss fight as per usual, so that's not bad at all. And then in the second half, we have 3 alternative paths, and then we have 4 dangerous fights, right? And the last fight being a double danger, which is going to be the double Dorito chip. The double dangers are usually just indicated for fights that could potentially end your run. This is actually pretty good for us though, since it's going to be the last fight. So I mean, those fights are a lot more dangerous if you go up against them before that 25th fight, right? Also, this is color coded for you guys, that way you guys can go ahead and check your win streak bonus percentages, right? So in the first half, the path is pretty much just all gray, because until you hit fight 15, that's when you start getting a big chunk of win percentage bonus. So 15, 16, 17, you're getting a maximum of 200%. And then once you get up to 18 through 23, you're getting a maximum of 500%. And then 24 and 25, you get 600 and 800 respectively, which is huge. You're not able to claim that 25th fight win streak bonus if you land on a yellow or a green tile. And obviously your streak will reset if you lose a fight, because when you lose a fight, you get bumped down 2 tiles as well. So next, let's talk about the color wheel right here. So for the color wheel, we do have a pretty good spread right here. Usually there's one color that has less units than the others. Like for example, last season, I believe we only had like a couple blues, so there wasn't a big point of bringing a massive amount of greens. Right, for this one, you have 7 threatening reds, 6 threatening yellows, 9 threatening purples, 8 threatening greens, and 10 threatening blues. So obviously for this season, blue is going to be the most dominant one, blue and purple. So obviously you're going to want a yellow and a green on the team, a strong one at that. As for the other colors, don't completely ignore them, because there's still a handful of them as well. And as for the predictions for those fights in particular, We have for strike cover changes, there's 11 of them. For strike counters, there's 1 of them. For blast cover changes, there's 3 of them. And then for blast counters, there's 1 of them. And then universal, there's a total of 2. So strike teams still getting the short end of the stick, unfortunately, when it comes to this. I don't know like why they put primarily just strike counter teams into ToP. I don't know what the thought process is behind it, or why they don't rotate it, where one season it's more strike based countered, or one season it's more blast based countered. I'm not sure. So now let's take a look at our pathing for this season. I'm pretty much only going to cover units that are super attacking you, stunning you, just big fights like that, big units like that. So this one right here, this is the second fight you land on. This is the powerful opponent fight. We've come across this many a time. So for this one, Jiren is stunning you turn 1. Nothing you can do about that, right? But then this Frieza is also special too, because if you initiate a Blast Arts attack onto this Frieza will mitigate it, has the Blast Arts counter, and then upon countering a Blast Arts, okay, they get 100% to their super attack, right? So you have to be careful about him. You either have to take him first or last. If you're running a strike team, you don't have to worry about that at all, but you do be careful about him. So next you do have this Mohawks fight. So there's no one on here super attacking you, but there's significant debuffs coming out of this fight right here, right? So basically the way you would do this here is you go for these 2 Tapions first, the red one and the yellow one. And then you go for the purple Tapion 5th and the blue Zamasu last, right? So the Zamasu's debuffing you upon getting hit, and then also he's debuffing the bottom row right here, so you have to avoid that as well. Next we have this same old Resurrection F fight right here. You guys already know what to do. So the Whis is going to be able to stun you on turn 2. You can kill him before he gets a chance to do that. That's going to be ideal for you. And then this purple Vegeta is going to mitigate 1 Blast Arts attack. Next we do have this GT fight right here. So the Kid Goku is going to be stunning you turn 1. You can't do anything about that unless you have someone like Garlic Jr., which would be massively helpful here, because Garlic Jr., he cancels abnormal conditions, meaning that the units that he's basically in coverage of, they're obviously stun counts as a normal condition, so he just wipes it. Anyways, there's 3 debuffers here. So the Parasite Trunks, the GT Vegeta, and then this green Vegeta does debuff you upon getting hit. So those 3 are going to be the big cheeses of this fight, essentially. Oh, I mean 4, because also the Kid Goku. So next we do have one of our danger fights. There's not a whole lot to tell you guys. I mean, it's definitely, there's a lot here, but essentially every unit on this team is a threatening unit. The only unit that you don't have to really worry about here is this yellow cell. So when you come against this fight, definitely don't underestimate any of these units, because they all will do a decent chunk of damage. Like this guy has debuffs, this guy has debuffs, this guy has, I'm pretty sure he does have debuffs, I'm not too sure. This guy has good damage, and then this guy, he transforms, right? He has the transformation stats, all that good stuff. So definitely don't take this stage lightly. And then right after that, you do have the Sagas from the movies with various villains. This one's actually really easy. Just a couple things to watch out for is that this Bojack, he gets a super at the end of turn 2, really slow unit, so you have some time to kill him before he actually gets that off. And then I usually do like going for Janemba last if I'm running a blast based team right here, because he does counter 1 Blast Arts, and then he's able to stun that unit. So whatever unit you initiate that Blast Arts attack with, he's going to be able to stun it afterwards. Next we have GT. This is another one of our danger fights right here. There's a lot more going on. So Super 17, he's able to absorb a Blast Arts, and then he's debuffing the bottom 2 rows damage received and key recovery when he attacks, and he has the chance to double attack each turn. Yellow Super Baby 2, on the other hand, he inversely has a strike counter, and he's debuffing our team's damage received. And then of course you guys already know about the Baby Trunks debuffs. Those units are essentially the big 3. So once you get Super 17, Super Baby 2, and Parasite Trunks out of the way, this fight is good to go. You essentially have cleared it. And then next we have this future fight right here. Just make sure you guys are getting this Mai out of the way. This Mai stuns you at the end of turn 2, so again, you have some time to kill her before then, but you don't want to get hit with the stun. And then then this Trunks is also notable too because he's getting stronger every time you kill an ally, so you don't want him to get his full build up and do a decent chunk of damage to whatever unit. And then this future Gohan, this guy, he has death buffs, so kill him last. And then for the first boss fight of the first half of the board, we do have a Vegeta clan. This fight is not too intimidating, but you do have a tag unit. Thankfully, this tag unit does not have a cover change or anything like that, but he is going to be a high priority unit just because of the fact that he's a tag unit. And then you have the Sweater Trunks, usually has a universal cover change for someone, right? And then this Trunks has a strike cover change for someone. Those two are some big units, but also you have to worry about the Green Mai. The Green Mai is going to stun a unit at the end of turn 2. And then this Rage Yellow Trunks, he does get stronger every time you hit him. Because of that, he's usually targeted last. So this next fight is part of our alternate pathings right here. This is the Bojack family. This one's also pretty common, I would say. Just kill the Bujin first. That's pretty much all I am asking you guys to do here, is kill the Bujin first, because this guy, he will stun you on turn 2. So next one I do want to talk about is this girls team. This one took me by surprise last season, so it's actually pretty tanky. And so straight up, I'm not really gonna go say like these units are incredibly dominant or anything like that, but Urine has debuffs, Ribrianne has debuffs, Kiawe has debuffs, and the Purple Vados have debuffs. So, I mean, all those are going to affect you. Those are going to increase their damage output by a lot. This at 18, yellow 18 reduces our strike damage. So if you're running a strike team against this and you're doing like no damage, that's why. And then obviously Kale has the heals. Kiawe even has a minor heal as well. Next, you have this ToP stage. This one's an oldie. We don't see this one too much, but we used to. So this Roshi is going to stun you on turn 2, and then this Tien is also going to super attack / stun you on turn 2. So two big boys right there that you have to take care of. I have noted in the past that people say that if you take too long to kill this Krillin, you hitting him, or if you hit him too much without actually getting the kill on him, he can build up his super attack. So you have another danger fight right here. It's going to be the Majin Buu saga. So this Buu will stun you on turn 3. You have enough time to get him before that happens. And then you have the Buu tanks that is able to super attack you turn 1. So you do have to try to kill that guy first. If you have like high K restore speed units, you're gonna 100% be able to do so. And then a lot of the other units here are big names, like this Kid Buu does do good damage. Both of the Kid Boos do good damage. The Red Buuhan, and this guy's relatively like the newest unit on this team right here, the green one. And so for alternate pathing right here, I think this is technically the easier fight as opposed to the main pathing. This is the future fight. You have to kill this Trunks before you go for any of the Gohan units. Please, dude, please. This Trunks has the ability to get a blue card every single time a Gohan ally dies. So you can see there's 3 Gohans on this team, right? If you were to go for all 3 of these Gohans before that blue Trunks, you're giving that man's 3 blue cards. You have to go for the Legends Road Trunks first. So this next one is also one of our danger fights. This one's not, I mean, in terms of like the complexity of the units, it's not that bad. So DKP, he does debuff our team. Kid Goku, he's a high damage dealer. He has a strike cover for someone usually. And then Ader, he gets his buffs on turn 2. He has death buffs for his allies, and he debuffs an enemy when he's attacked. Also has a strike cover change. And then the Bulma is also going to be an issue here too, because at some point she is going to be canceling all of our buff effects, and she's providing direct support for someone usually too. And then the next fight we have is going to be the Ginyu Force. So obviously both of the tag units, that's going to be something to be concerned about. And then the revival unit is always going to be last. As a rule of thumb, we always target the revival units last. And then for your final fight, it is going to be against Universe Reps. So this one's tricky because Go Frieza's high priority has a strike cover change. MVP 17's high priority has the blast cover change plus support for the team. And then Golden Frieza gets a blue card turn 1. So you do, if you can speed blitz him and get him out of the way first, then good for you. Most of the time I can't get him out of the way first, so I usually have to just eat that blue card from him. Thankfully, it doesn't hit that hard. After someone that has, coming from someone that has gone on this stage a couple of times now, his blue card isn't that hard hitting, and they can't be on like a layout bonus tile to where he's transforming that blue card into the ultimate, so you're okay with eating it, honestly. And then obviously you have the Evo Ken tag unit right there, right? And then both of the MUIs. You got the MUI Goku and then the UI Goku, and usually those units are saved last. That way you don't have to just burn through their UI gauge and waste an attack essentially. But obviously after spewing out that mouthful, every single unit here is a high priority unit essentially. And of course, before we get into the actual teams for the season, this is the legend, the key that you guys are going to be using to identify the icons that are going to be shown in the graphics in the next segment. So please refer to this if you have any questions about them. As the first team I am going to be talking about is going to be the team we're going to be using for the season is the Strike Taunthan based. It's more, I mean, it is a Taunthan team, but it's also more of a hybrids team, right? Since we have used Taunthan before, we're comfortable with using him. I wanted to try it out more so on a hybrids team right here, so this is what we got with it. So for boost units, you do have the tag Gohan and Trunks from the future. You have this Gohan right here. This is a strike based team, so you want to swap him over to strike, right? So just those two alone, we're getting that 30% bonus. For the rest of the team, we have the pad support for our Gohans, which is going to be huge. We have the Beast Gohan, the Red Beast Gohan, and then the Ultra Beast Gohan. And Taunthan's the only core unit here. Obviously, the team is named after him, so of course he's going to be a mainstay on the team. And then the only change that I do have here is Goten over Bola. So they're both healers. A lot of people would probably argue that Bola is better, but I think Goten is more accessible, especially since he's a free-to-play unit. Some of you guys may not have Bola at a good amount of stars, or you guys just never summoned on Bola, or whatever the case may be. I want to use the free-to-play unit over her, so that's what we're going to be doing right here. So next we're going to be talking about our beloved regeneration. We might circle back to this team after a season or two, just because I know you guys love your regeneration runs. For this team, you have one core unit. It is going to be Super Baby 2. This guy's always going to be the core unit on this team. He is amongst the best in terms of being a healer and stuff like that, right? For your boost units, you do have a Z tier Yellow Piccolo, who's going to be a healer. He should have the healer icon. That's my fault. And then you have the S tier Metal Cooler Zenkai. He's a good unit. We've used him quite a bit. He gets his frequent rounds in S tier, which is huge for us, right? As for standout units here, you have Bootangs getting guaranteed super attack turn 1. You have the Zamasu essentially getting a super attack turn 1, right? Or not turn 1, I'm sorry. Turn 4, right? Because he's getting 20% every single turn, which is, or well, he has every single turn, but on strike or blast arts hit, which is pretty massive right here. Parasite Trunks does both some debuffs. The Cell, he's doing a ton of stuff, including debuffs. And then Rage Shinron, interestingly enough, so once you get 5 enemies or less, he does the taunt mechanic, meaning that he's going to apply the buff effect to himself, where enemies focus on this character for 1 turn. So essentially like a mini Taunthan for regeneration. Even though it's not on turn 1, you activate it on turn 2 after you get a kill, right? He also has a stun available to him for people that go in for the strike arts on him. And obviously this is a blast based team, so if you are running this, you would probably swap over the Zamasu to blast. Alright, so next we do have movies. This is going to be the strike based variation. First and foremost, we have one core unit here. It is going to be the Goku. He's going to be buffing your max HP Z ability, plus he also acts as a boost unit, which is nice. For other boost units, you have Z tier Frieza, the EX, and then you have S tier Bojack, who also acts as a super attacker for the end of turn 2, which is also nice. Other notable units here is going to be the Beast Gohan. You do have the Red Broly Legends Limited unit. This guy has a stun on turn 2, plus he has the chance to double attack. Garlic Jr., I really like this guy a lot. He has one of the few units in the game that has the ability to wipe all abnormal conditions, meaning that this coverage that he has, specifically 4 slots above him, left, right, and below, he is able to wipe the stun off those units. So if you go into a fight and you get stunned on turn 1 and it's in one of those 4 tiles, he's essentially wiping it, which is really, really good. Tapion, he's pretty good as well. He's healing. He acts as a healer just for one specific tile right below him. He's also debuffing all enemies too, so counts as a supporter and a healer. Obviously, I do not have that green Videl, so what you would do in this situation is you would pick a unit from the backup list. So that's exactly what I did here. I swapped out the Videl for the Zenkai Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So next we have Sagas. This is going to be the blast-based version. So core unit for this team is you do have this Master Roshi. This is your max HP Z ability. That's usually get granted the role of core unit, right? And then for your other boost units, you can notice there's only 2 S tiers. So you're only getting a 20% from those S tiers, you want 30% per season. Thankfully, one of those S tiers is the Zenkai Turles, and the other one's a free-to-play unit, both of which are pretty good in their own right. But the thing about this, to alleviate that 20% and missing 10%, you're running 3 A tier units. So the A tiers are going to net you a bonus of 5% per unit. So you're running 3 right here, so 5, 10, 15. It all adds up to 35%, so you're still going to be in the clear. You can do this with other teams too if you want, especially if you're missing units. For this one in particular, it's because this team was more viable than what would have been with the Z tier units given for this one. But notable units here are the tag unit, Goku and Piccolo. I hear they're really good, really fun to use. Unfortunately, I do not have them. You would need to sub them out with someone else if you don't have them as well. And then you also have Beast Gohan on here, who's making another. He's on both teams, right? Because what you can do is you just set him over to Blast. You have double stuns with this Frieza and this Cooler, and then you have the support from the Awakened Piccolo. So next we have GT. This is Strike-based GT core unit, Super Baby 2. Regeneration and GT, those are Baby's teams, right? He owns them. He has control over them. He's not going anywhere for those teams. For boost units, you have Z tier Majub. You have S tier Nova. That dude also has the bubble shield. So if he's going to get hit by a blast or a strike, he's able to activate his special action and effectively nullify that attack. So that's pretty good for a stall out, just for mitigation overall, right? Then you also have this S tier kid Goku. This Goku, he gets a super attack every other fight because he's getting 50% per fight. So he's going to be a super attack churner. You have the tag unit, Frieza and Celza, whatever you want to call them. I do not have that unit. So again, another one of those units that you would probably need to swap someone out for, such as maybe the Kid Goku, right? The Kid Goku, he can be your stunner, stuff like that. The Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku, that is. And then you have the Gogeta 4. So next we have GT, but this is going to be the blast-based version. So of course, Baby's going to stay here as the core unit, the main healer of the team. For boost units, you have 3 S tiers right here. So you have this Ice. Ice doesn't have the bubble shield like his counterpart Nova, but he does have a strike counter, right? So he's able to nullify 1 strike arts at the very least. And then you have this Vegeta, Zenkai Vegeta. Zenkai units are always good as your boost units because you want them to live as long as possible. But this guy's also offering debuffs to the enemy team, which is nice. And then you have this EX Omega Shenron. This guy's huge for GT teams, for powerful opponent teams. He does have the ability to farm special move gauge, and then he's also healing himself once he lands that special move arts. And then of course you have Super 17. He has a chance to double attack, right? Has the buffs against yellow units, has the blast mitigation. Hellfighter 17 has incredible support all around. Hellfighter 17 is pretty much on the team 24/7, and then Parasite Trunks also really good against hybrids / Saiyans and has debuffs. Next we have Universe Reps. So core unit, we have Bergamo. Bergamo is going to be your max base HP for the tag, and then you also are going to want to set him over to Blast since he does come as Strike. For your boost units, you have a total of 30% with the Z tier and an S tier. You have the green Dispo, and then you have the blue EX Jiren. Again, set them over to Blast, right? For notable units, you have MVP. For notable units, you have MVP 17 for the all-around support. You have Kale as your healer. You have Golden Frieza as your turn 1 super attacker. You want this Golden Frieza on a yellow tile at all times. That way you're turning the special move into the ultimate arts, because when you land the ultimate arts, you're inflicting a ton of debuffs onto all enemies. You have this Topo, who's a turn 1 stunner. And then you have the Jiren, also a turn 1 stunner. All right, so next we have androids right here. So no core units. You have one that's debatable. I mean, this guy is going to be your max HVZ ability, plus he's a healer, so he can maybe be your core unit. This guy's really good, but he is an EX unit. I've never played him before. I'm not too sure how well he does. I don't have him Zenkai panel unlocked, but his defenses look a little low. So if you do end up using... If you use androids often and you're using this guy often, let me know how he performs. For your Z tiers, or you have 2 Z tiers on here, so a total of 40%. You have the Cell Junior, and then you have this Android 14, I believe. Yep, Android 14. Again, blast-based team, so you're going to want to send him over to Blast. For your notable units, MVP 17, he's on a ton of teams, right? And then you have Super 17, he's on the GT teams. He has a chance to double attack. He's really good all around. Very, very good damage dealer. Has the blast arts mitigation. Green 21, stun on turn 2. Tag unit is a tag unit. And then this purple 17 for a bunch of debuffs support. Alright, so next we have the event exclusive team, aka the free-to-play team. So for your core units, you actually have 2 of them here. So one of them is going to be this Naval. This guy is not an HPZ ability buffer, but he is a healer and significant supporter right here. So was able to support the full board, whether they're Frieza Force, event exclusive, or Frieza Saga. Restores health by 1%, activates 2 times, gives them damage inflicted, and canceling their attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. That's really good. As for other core units on here, you do have the Pui. This guy is going to be your Z ability max HP buffer right here. And then for boost units, you do have Raspberry, and then you have the Metal Cooler. All these units are free to play, so you guys should have every single one of them at 14 stars ideally. You have the Yellow 18 acting as a healer. You have the Blue Gohan as he has significant damage against powerful opponents, so that's really good too. And then you have the new-ish unit of the Shinshin Run, the red one. Alright, so next thing we have Frieza Force. So you have 2 core units here. You have the Revival Frieza, obviously Revival unit, just very good, and also acts as a healer. Look at the debuffs, by the way. Look at that debuff range. But also acts as a healer for Tag Lineage of Evil or Frieza Force right here. And then Naval, we just talked about him on the event exclusive. Full board buffs for Ally Tag Frieza Force, event exclusive, or Frieza Saga is going to be a healer as well. And then for your boost units, you actually have so many boost unit options for this team for this season. So you have, for us, we have the Apul on the team going to be giving us support for the entire team as well for end of turn. Ally Tag Frieza Force or minion crit damage, or damage inflicted and critical rate. And then you have the Jason Birder units. I don't have the Jason Birder unit, so I would just sub him out for this this Red Frieza right here, who's going to act as a turn 1 stunner, by the way. And then you have the Monray, and then obviously you want to swap him over to Blast, right? Monray, and then we already talked about the Naval also acting as a boost unit. Another boost unit that I did want to mention is that the Rikuma and Guldo are also in S tier. So if you have double tag units, you want to use double tag units, that is something you can do. This Purple Frieza has a turn 1 stun, this Broly has debuffs, and then Angel Golden Frieza has a turn 1 super attack. Keep this guy on a yellow tile at all costs to turn the super attack into the ultimate arts. Next, we do got LOE, so core unit, Revival Frieza, just like on Frieza Force, is basically playing the same role. He is playing the same role, so he is going to be a healer. And the Revival unit, you have Chilled, that's going to be your HPZ ability buffer. And then for boost units, you have 1 Z tier and then 2 S tiers. For the 30%, you have the Green EX Frieza, you have Zenkai Metal Cooler. You're going to want to swap him over to Blast because it's a Blast based team. And then you have the blue free to play Metal Cooler as well. So Golden Frieza, keep him yellow tile, turn 1 super attack, turn that bad boy into the ultimate, get all the debuffs, all the benefit. And then you have double stuns with the Red Frieza and the Purple Frieza. Alright, so next thing we are going to be talking about is going to be Saiyans. So this one is a little bit demanding because there's 3 tag units right here. So if you don't have this full team, you probably are going to want to switch it up a little bit right here, right? Because there's Evo Ken, there's the Vegeta Trunks, and then there's the Boo Duo. That's 3 tag units that you guys might not have, right? For example, for me, I don't have the Vegeta Trunks and I don't have the Boo Duo, but that's why these graphics come in handy, because you can kind of just see what you're going to actually have to mitigate that for, right? Especially because I don't have that Z tier Bardock. I would have to go ahead and opt for, and I don't like any of the other Z tiers right here, which is going to be the Blue Baby and the Purple Nappa. I don't want to use the Purple Nappa. I don't want to use the Blue Baby. I mean, Blue Baby is debatable. I think he's actually decent. But I would probably opt to go for 3 S tiers instead. So I'm keeping the Kaba because the Kaba has debuffs and stuff like that. It's Zenkai unit. It's a phenomenal unit. And then I'm going for the Zenkai Turles so I can have another Zenkai unit to boost my stats a little bit. And then I'm going for the S tier Vegeta. This guy, I mean, you can go for this guy or you can go for the GT Vegeta, either or. I like this guy because as long as you're keeping him at a high HP, he's going to be getting 50% to his special move gauge every single fight, so you're going to be pumping out some supers like that, right? And then he also acts as the replacement for the yellow Vegeta Trunks. I would put this Broly on here instead of the Boo Duo, just because he has good debuffs as well. He's a free-to-play unit. He's easily accessible. This guy's acting as a healer. This guy's acting as a healer. And then you have the Revival Nappa as well, he's seeing a lot of value on the Blast-based Saiyans team. Another unit that I did add to the graphic in S tier is this EX Vegeta right here. He he buffs primarily Vegeta Clan, and he does want to be on, he needs 4 Vegeta Clan allies. So if you are using him, do keep that in mind. I do have him listed as a replacement because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Vegeta Clan units on the graphic that we have made. So he would work here too. Or technically 6, right? Because you also have the Revival Nappa that turns into the Vegeta. So next we do have Saiyans, but this is going to be the strike-based version right here. So no core unit, but you do have the healer unit / boost unit with the Super Saiyan Goku. The EX green one, he's going to be able to heal to the left and to the right of him. Not too significant, but still something. And then you have this Kid Goku, who's going to be your super attacker. Every other fight generates 50% per fight. And then you have the red Super Saiyan Blue free-to-play Goku up here. He swings both ways. I think he's generally just a good all-around unit. So he's pretty solid as a boost unit. And then you have this Nappa. For notable units, you have the Nappa for debuffs. So all around, you have the MUI Goku has the UI mechanic. And then you have the Go Frieza. Tag units are just extremely valuable in this game mode. This guy has a turn 1 stun, and then this guy has a turn 2 super attack. So the last thing we're going to be talking about is a pure hybrids team. So this is going to be for the blast-based version. So core unit, you do have Pan, your max HP Z ability buffer right here, right? You love to see that. And then for your core or for your boost units, you have a Z tier and an S tier for the 30%. You have this Gohan, and then you have the future EX Gohan. You do want to send him over to blast. Like, I know it says he's a defensive type, but compare the stats: strike attack 236 versus blast attack 262k. So you do want to make sure he's set over to blast. He is a blast based unit. As for notable units here, you do have the fat Gotenks for the all-around support. You're gonna also want to set him over to blast. You have this purple Gohan. You have this blue beast Gohan. He can swing either way. He's a phenomenal unit. Very, very good damage dealer. This Gotenks can also swing either way. He can be on the strike or the blast team. I honestly, I really want to use him. I don't know if we'll switch up the team and use him for the next season. I'm not too sure, but he seems pretty fun. And then for the Revival Gohan, obviously Revival Gohan is good. You can use the Revival Gohan, but this guy's even better. You can use him. He has a strike arts mitigation, and when he does mitigate his strike arts, he gets an automatic blue card. So that's immensely valuable. You could also use the Ultra Beast on here if you wanted to. And then this is going to be the strike-based version right here. So core unit is still going to be Pan. For your boost units, you're going to have a Z tier and an S tier. I don't have that blue Gohan, so I would swap him out with the purple Gohan. So Z tier for a Z tier right here. And then obviously you want to send him over to strike. And then you have this tag future Gohan in Trunks. A tag unit, just valuable. This guy's just pretty good in general, but he is at the pink star requirements, meaning you do want him a little bit higher than just your average 7 stars, right? For notable units here, you do have this Bola. Set her over to strike. She is going to act as a healer for the team, which is nice. You have the Beast Gohans. So you have this one, and then you have the red one, and then you have the yellow one. So triple Beast setup right here is always going to be just immensely high damage. And then instead of the Trunks, you can run the Ultra Gohan here still too. Even though he is a ranged type. Hey, look at his stats are super even. 219, 219. So you can go ahead and just swap him over to strike and you're good to go. But that Zenkai Legends Limited Trunks is also a very good unit. So if you do want to use that guy, you can use that guy. And last but not least, let's talk about our new units. We only have one new unit. It is going to be this Bluku right here. So ToP stats. So let's take a look at these maximum stats. So key restore speed is abysmal at 2,109. That's really slow. Everything else looks good though. The defenses, the attack stats, they actually look really solid. Is going to have just a regular blue card here for the first ability, 70% to damage inflicted, 15% to damage cut, and 20% to key recovery. So it makes up for the bad key recovery right there. At the end of turn, if own health is 50% or lower, you pop a green card. This one's kind of iffy for me because you don't usually see your units getting below 50% too often unless it's like a really difficult season. On a special action activation, you restore your own health by 2%, 20% to own damage inflicted, 10% to own special move gauge, and you inflict debuffs, 10% to damage received to the enemy. That's some good stuff right there. That's some real good stuff right there. You want this unit to be below 50%, which sucks. Started the first turn, 15% to blast damage inflicted, 30% to key recovery for one turn. So pretty fast unit, right? On strike or blast arts attack, 10% to own damage inflicted for 2 turns. You inflict enemy with attribute downgrade, 5% to damage received. And on special move arts attack, multi-target, 15% to own damage inflicted for 2 turns, and you inflict the enemy with 15% to damage received for 1 turn. I mean, listen, guys, he fits on Saiyans blast based, and then he fits on event exclusive. And I'm pretty sure there's already just better blue units on there. We don't necessarily need a blue for those teams specifically. So, I mean, he's not bad by any means. He's just not good enough, if that makes sense. And that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this guide. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns related to ToP, let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, good luck on securing your juicy 1000cc, and stay tuned for part 1 of the walkthrough that will be coming out tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.